I bring Daniel to Blair's party that night, and Daniel is wearing sunglasses and a black wool jacket and black jeans. He's also wearing black suede gloves because he cut himself badly on a piece of glass a week earlier in New Hampshire. I had gone with him to the emergency room at the hospital and had watched as they cleaned the wound and washed the blood off and started to sew in the wire, until I started feeling sick, and then I went and sat in the waiting room at 5 o'clock in the morning and heard the Eagles sing New Kid in Town, and I wanted to come back. We're standing at the door of Blair's house in Beverly Hills, and Daniel complains that the gloves are sticking to the wires and are too tight. But he doesn't take them off because he doesn't want people to see the thin silver wires sticking out of the skin on his thumb and fingers. Blair answers the door. "Hey, gorgeous," Blair exclaims. She's wearing a black leather jacket and matching pants and no shoes, and she hugs me and then looks at Daniel. "Well, who's this?" she asks, grinning. "This is Daniel. Daniel, this is Blair," I say. Blair offers her hand and Daniel smiles and shakes it softly. "Well, come on in. Merry Christmas!" There are 2 Christmas trees, one in the living room and one in the den, and both have twinkling dark red lights coloring them. There are people at the party from high school, most of whom I haven't seen since graduation, and they all stand next to the 2 huge trees. Trent, a male model I know, is there. "Hey, Clay," Trent says, a red and green plaid scarf wrapped around his neck. "Trent," I say. "How are you, babes?" "Great. Trent, this is Daniel. Daniel, this is Trent." Trent offers his hand, and Daniel smiles and adjusts his sunglasses and lightly shakes it. "Hey, Daniel," Trent says. "Where did you go to school?" "With Clay," Daniel says. "Where do you go?" "UCLA, or as the Orientals like to call it, UCRA. Trent imitates an old Japanese man. Eyes slit, head bowed, front teeth stuck out in parody, and then laughs drunkenly. "I go to the University of Spoiled Children," Blair says, still grinning, running her fingers through her long blonde hair. "Where?" asks Daniel. "USC," she says. Oh, yeah," he says. "That's right." Blair and Trent laugh, and she grabs his arm to balance herself for a moment. "Or JUSC," she says, almost gasping. "Or JUCLA," Trent says, still laughing. Finally, Blair stops laughing and brushes past me to the door, telling me I should try the punch. "I'll get the punch," Daniel says. "You want some, Trent?" "No thanks." Trent looks at me and says, "You look pale." I notice that I do, compared to Trent's deep, dark tan, and most of the other people's complexion around the room. I've been in New Hampshire for 4 months. Trent reaches into his pocket. "Here," he says, handing me a card. "This is the address of a tanning salon on Santa Monica. Now, it's not artificial lighting or anything like that, and you don't have to rub vitamin E capsules all over your bod. This thing is called an uva bath, and what they do is they dye your skin." I stop listening to Trent after a while and look over at 3 boys, friends of Blair's I don't know, who go to USC, all tan and blonde, and one is singing along with the music coming out of the speakers. "It works," Trent says. "What works?" I ask, distracted. "An uva bath? Uva bath. Look at the card, dude." "Oh, yeah." I look at the card. "They dye your skin, right?" "Right." "Okay." Pause. "What have you been doing?" Trent asks. "Unpacking," I say. "What about you?" "Well," he smiles proudly, "I got accepted by this modeling agency. A really good one," he assures me. "And guess who's going to be not only on the cover of International Mail in 2 months, but who is also the month of June in UCLA's College Man calendar?" "Who?" I ask. "Me, dude!" Trent says. International Mail? Yeah, I don't like the magazine. My agent told them no nude stuff, just like Speedos and stuff like that. I don't do any nude stuff. I believe him, but don't know why, and look around the room to see if Rip, my dealer, is at the party. But I don't see him, and I turn back to Trent and ask, Yeah? Well, what else have you been doing? Oh, like the usual, going to Nautilus, getting smashed, going to this Uva place. But hey, don't tell anyone I've been there, okay? What? I said don't tell anyone about this Uva place, okay? Trent looks worried, concerned almost, and I put my hand on his shoulder and give it a squeeze to reassure him. Oh, yeah, don't worry. Hey, he says, looking around the room. Gotta do a little business. Later lunch, he jokes, leaving. Daniel comes back with the punch, and it's very red and very strong, and I cough a little as I take a swallow. From where I'm standing, I can see Blair's father, who's this movie producer, and he's sitting in a corner of the den talking with this young actor I think I went to school with. Blair's father's boyfriend is also at the party. His name's Jared, and he's really young and blonde and tan, and has blue eyes and incredibly straight white teeth, and he's talking to the three boys from USC. I can also see Blair's mother, who is sitting by the bar, drinking a vodka gimlet, her hand shaking as she brings the drink to her mouth. Blair's friend Alana comes into the den and hugs me, and I introduce her to Daniel. You look just like David Bowie, Alana, who is obviously coked up out of her mind, tells Daniel. Are you left-handed? No, I'm afraid not, Daniel says. Alana likes guys who are left-handed, I tell Daniel. And who look like David Bowie, she reminds me. And who live in the colony, I finish. Oh, Clay, you're such a beastie, she giggles. Clay is a total beastie, she tells Daniel. Yes, I know, Daniel says. A beastie. Totally. Have you had any punch? You should have some, I tell her. Darling, she says slowly, dramatically. I made the punch. She laughs and then spots Jared and stops suddenly. Oh God, I wish Blair's father wouldn't invite Jared to these things. It makes her mother so nervous. She gets totally bombed anyway, but having him around makes it worse. She turns to Daniel and says, Blair's mother is an agoraphobic. She looks back at Jared. I mean, he's going to Death Valley next week on location. I don't see why he can't wait until then, can you? Alana turns to Daniel, then me. No, Daniel says solemnly. Me either, I say, shaking my head. Alana looks down and then back at me and says, You look kind of pale, Clay. You should go to the beach or something. Maybe I will. I fingered the card Trent gave me and then asked her if Julian is going to show up. He called me and left a message, but I can't seem to get in touch with him, I say. Oh God, no, Alana says. I hear he is like completely fucked up. What do you mean? I ask. Suddenly the three boys from USC and Jared laugh loudly in unison. Alana rolls her eyes up and looks pained. Jared heard this stupid joke from his boyfriend who works at Morton's. What are the two biggest lies? I'll pay you back, and I won't come in your mouth. I don't even get it. Oh God, I better go help Blair. Mummy's going behind the bar. Nice to meet you, Daniel. Yeah, you too, Daniel says. Alana walks over to Blair and her mother by the bar. Maybe I should have hummed a few bars of Let's Dance, Daniel says. Maybe you should have. Daniel smiles. Oh, Clay, you're such a total beastie. We leave after Trent and one of the boys from USC fall into the Christmas tree in the living room. Later that night, when the two of us are sitting at the end of the darkened bar at the Polo Lounge, not a whole lot is said. I want to go back, Daniel says quietly, but with effort. Where? I ask, unsure. There's a long pause that kind of freaks me out, and Daniel finishes his drink and fingers the sunglasses he's still wearing and says, I don't know. Just back.